A.K.I is a character that excels in space control, using her fireball to control the pace of the match. This space control leads to strong setups, strong offense, and high damage combos, as many of her moves apply poison, which gives bonus effects on hit and gives damage over time. If you're looking for a character that has a variety of options for all levels of play, and honestly is just a blast to play, A.K.I will be a great fit for you. I'm Diaphone, top level player in multiple fighting games, but also as of this recording, the number 5 A.K.I in NA on the leaderboards. In this guide, we'll go over normal, specials, combos, strategy, and more, so feel free to skip around, timestamps below, but if you want to learn the character to its fullest, I recommend you watch everything. Oh, he got caught reaching so hard. So, A.K.I's normals, her lights are pretty standard across the board compared to the other characters. So her crouch jab, fastest normal, this is what you're going to be matching out during pressure. Leads into crouch jab on hit, goes into H-lash. Crouch light is okay. I mean, you're pretty much just using this as like a low option for like non-drive rush situations. It's really fast for the range it goes. As you can see, this is quite a long reaching normal. You can do stuff like drive rush, crouch light into that works pretty well. Or if you're just like trying to do like a low option on their wake up, crouch light works pretty well too. Stand jab, this is your typical, like if you need to stand jab a move like Ken's Dragon Lash or Dulcim Teleport, this is where you're going to be using stand jab for mostly. It also has a target combo out of it, so this target combo is actually quite good. It's cancelable, which means it gives you a full combo. You can also go into drive rush. It's hit confirmable. It's safe on block. It also naturally frame traps. So all of these things seem really, really good, and they are. But oftentimes, like, it's a really awkward situation to use it, because if you're in pressure, you're just gonna be mashing jab, and if you're on offense, you usually want to stick to stuff that's like plus on block or going for like a throw, strike, shimmy kind of situation. Where I end up using this most is after, like, let's say forward heavy kick, you're +2, so the stand jab will frame trap, and that frame trap gives you a lot of time to hit confirm. Other than that, think of it as you use it in situations where you're slightly plus in order to get a hit confirm situation. A.K.I stand light kick is like most stand light kicks in the game. Generally you use it for like space control. It's your furthest reaching light at 5 frames, so you can see this actually reaches quite far. So it's pretty good for like checking stuff like drive rush. But at the same time, her stand medium punch is so good that I don't end up using stand light kick too much. And so let's talk about the stand medium punch. So this is 6 frame startup compared to stand light kick's 5 frame, but you can see you get so much extra range from the stand medium punch. It's way easier to hit confirm, you get more damage. So generally I'm using stand medium punch a lot instead of stand light kick. And this is probably my go-to stop drive rush move if you're really on point. And you're like canceling this into your own drive rush and going for a full combo. Special cancelable can be used in combos. A really common situation I'll do is, like, let's say you get a counter hit jab, you get a combo like this. Nothing too crazy, but it is a good amount of damage, and you'll be using that a lot. The other place where the stand medium punch is really good is, like, let's say people are doing pressure like this, like after you block a few jabs. Because the stand medium punch is so fast, you can interrupt a lot of stuff the opponent does, and then of course you can go into drive rush and be safe. Really, really good normal, really disjointed, really fast. You'll definitely want to be using this one a lot. Crouch medium punch, furthest reaching cancelable normal. Good for whiff punches, so like let's say they're whiffing here and you have the meter to spend on drive rush. Very strong. Think of this as like a really quick whiff punish tool that's also cancelable and pretty easy to make yourself safe with. Also decent for like stopping far drive rushes as well. Stand medium kick. Now this looks like it'd be a decent poke. I don't think it is, and this is kind of like one of the weaknesses of A.K.I is your mediums are not the best for space control. So this isn't cancelable, and it's pretty slow at 9 frames. It doesn't even like have the best range. So pretty much like most characters in the game have better medium normals than her for space control. Where you will use this is like up close for pressure. This is very advantageous on hit, and so you can get a lot of good combos from this. The other place is like for drive rush combos. This is like your go-to drive rush starter. After you drive rush here, You're +2 on block. You're in perfect throw, shimmy, strike range. So think of stand medium kick as like a close normal that you'll use sometimes. Oh, crouch medium kick. Now this crouch medium kick's okay. It's again not really something you throw around in neutral that often because you can't really get a combo from it. It's not cancelable. So where this is used is mostly from drive rush, right? So one of Aki's game plan is to make them block a fireball and then do high low. So this is your low option, and obviously your high option is your overhead, which is down forward medium punch. And so you'll be using crouch medium kick a lot, but mostly from drive rush in order to mix up the opponent. Crouch medium kick cancels the super. Oh, that's so funny. I feel like I never use this, right? Yeah, it's really rare that your medium kicks are just super cancelable. That's cool. Is this level 1 cancelable? Yeah. So if you're ultra big brain and catch a walk back, I guess you can do that. What combo did you get out of drive rush, crouch medium kick? Oh, just you do this into that. Nah, you just get like something like this. All right, so if the mediums aren't good for pokes, what are your pokes? And I think your primary poke is this stand heavy punch. This move is really, really good. It's not special cancelable, but it has a target combo out of it, which you just press heavy punch again. And it seems really risky. This is minus on block, -15. So you absolutely get punished, but this is easily, I won't say easily hit confirmable, but with practice, you can hit confirm, right? You can delay the second input a good amount. And you can see I'm pretty easily able to hit confirm that, right? If you want to be really sweaty about it, you can look at the health bar. And so when you see the health bar tick down, you can just press the second heavy punch. But I think it's pretty doable without even looking at the health bar as well. Yeah, good point. This is minus, so don't do it up close. You will get punished. But in this range, it's very, very strong. The other thing that makes this very strong is that if you have poison on them, which a lot of her specials apply poison, you get a combo after, right? This is the go-to combo I do, just because it's very easy. There's like sweatier versions you can do, but you see you don't really get that much extra damage. Crouch heavy punch. So every character in this game has their sweep on crouch heavy kick. Aki's different because she's weird. She has hers on crouch heavy punch. It's actually a pretty good sweep. The bad thing about the sweep is it moves you forward, which means it's like easier to punish, but it's also not as negative as some sweeps. Basically mostly a whiff punish tool if you like a big brain read that they're walking back. Heavy kick. Now this normal is quite good. It has the most block stun out of any normal you have, and you can cancel it. So it cancels in a lot of different options, fireball, stance, etc. We'll get into all of that, but this is like one of your main combo starters, and it's also your shimmy normal. So this reaches from shimmy distance and you get a full combo off that. Crouch heavy kick. This is interesting normal. This is one of her primary anti-airs along with stand heavy kick, right? So that's a strong anti-air. This is a strong anti-air. On counter hit, you can sometimes link a sweep if you're in the right distance. There's some like meaty subs where this will hit low, but I don't think any of them are good. This is like a low on the later active frames for some reason. I have no clue why, but I don't really use it. Oh yeah, forward heavy punch. So this is pretty good. So again, if you're playing against Aki, where do you want to play, right? You either want to play in this distance where your mediums are strong, or you want to play outside the 5 heavy punch range, right? This is your answer to people playing outside that range. Doesn't seem like you get that much damage, but this is super cancelable. So I wouldn't really do this normal if I didn't have super, but if you have super, you can kind of hit confirm. This is a tough hit confirm, but it is somewhat doable. It is somewhat consistent, and you get really good damage for a really, really far reaching poke. The issue of this poke is that, well, it's easy to jump on, and Aki gets jumped in on a lot, so you have to be a little careful about that. Yeah, so 6 heavy kick. This is a pretty good move. Mostly use it for like Oki setups, right? So if you're like let's say you do a safe jump, you're point blank, do the forward heavy kick. The cool thing about this is you're still plus, so you can do like a jab target combo and that frame traps, and it keeps you safe. If you want to be really plus after a drive rush and you know they're not checking you after the drive rush, you could do that. I generally don't like that. I pretty much only do it after a safe jump, or like I'm trying to be like really cheeky during Oki. But like even if this like hits from here, it's plus and you get a combo from stand medium punch, and obviously so you can go to the drive rush and the big boy damage. So it's a pretty good normal, but you don't like really use it in neutral, mostly for offense. All right, so jump ins, jump jab. I don't think I've ever used this in my life. Maybe it's good air to air. Jump light kick is one of your cross ups. This is a pretty good normal. Do keep in mind that like if you cross up at like the apex, like you're 0 frame advantage, so you have to like mash jab or something after. Jump medium punch. This is an air to air. Actually has a juggle point, which is like kind of weird, but it's like really hard to like hit it. But as you can see, like if you hit it at the right height, you can juggle like a H slash, or you can get like a drive rush combo. You have to hit it like this weird height. I don't think I've ever landed this in match once, but you know, in theory, there's probably some use for it. Jump medium kick, it's okay. It has a pretty good downward hitbox, but I feel like her heavy punch and heavy kick jump ins are just better and have more block stuns. So that's typically what I do. Jump heavy punch has the best hitbox, or at least I've had the most success with it in match. So I'll mostly jump in with jump heavy punch. You also have a down heavy punch as well. This like exclusively hits cross up. So think of like Iori Itaka from KOF. Has a very, very good cross up hitbox, way better than jump light kick. The issue with the cross up is that it does not hit in front. You have to be really careful of the spacing. If you're just trying to like not doing it on like a non setup and you're just doing a neutral, this will happen, and then maybe you'll get like jabbed out or something. All right, so she has a lot of specials. I'm not quite where to start, but we'll start with her probably your best special, which is this fireball. Core circle back light punch. The reason this fireball is really strong is you can dash behind it, you can get pressure, you can get combos, you can drive rush. It's basically your party starter in neutral. It's very, very strong. However, it does have some weaknesses that other fireballs don't have in this game. So it's a little slower. It's about 5 frames slower than your normal fireball that like someone like Ryu would have. But the issue is that you don't have a DP. So if you jump over fireball, Ryu, you get DP'd. Now, Aki doesn't really have a DP. Your closest thing is level 1 super, but it's a lot slower than DP. So that's like the one disadvantage of it. It's more susceptible to being jumped on than other fireballs, but in turn is a lot easier to follow than other fireballs. And it also poisons the enemy. So let's talk about poison. So poison will slowly tick down their health. As you can see, their health bar is slowly decreasing, very slowly. To the point where it doesn't really matter that much, right? And so you might be wondering, what's the point of applying poison? And the thing is, it makes your hits way more threatening, right? So compare stand heavy punch when you're not poisoned. When you are poisoned, double damage, and you actually get a Oki situation, right? Which means that you're going to attack on potentially more damage as the game continues. So very, very strong. And many moves have this additional effect. EX Fireball. This move is quite good. So the main advantage EX Fireball has is it recovers 8 frames quicker, so it's a lot harder to jump in on, and it's easier to like follow up. And you actually get damage off this too if it happens to hit. Actually, I forgot to cover this move. Core circle back, forward punch, because this move is trash. I literally have no clue where to use it. Leave a comment down below if you found a use for this. The description says it's supposed to beat like low profile moves, but it doesn't even do that. So like, I don't know, bruh. Actually, no, I did find one use for this. This will frame trap. So let's say you do something like this. If you delay it enough, you can frame trap, but it's like kind of hard. So maybe there's some application, but it's also minus 16, so it's like, I don't know, it doesn't seem that good. EX, in theory, it's the same thing. There's probably like a combo you can use it in, but honestly, if you're new, don't worry about this move. So getting that poison onto the opponent is really important. That's where this move comes into play. So when you play good opponents, a lot of them will sit back and they'll just try to parry the fireball. And you might be wondering, like, how do I punish this passiveness, right? Well, one way is just to drive rush in. The other way is to throw this puddle. And so if you know they're going to be patient, if they just walk over this puddle, they get poisoned, right? Which means that they're taking damage and your risk reward on like pokes and other things goes up. This is also used for in setups, right? So let's say I get like a corner combo. I can end my corner combo in this, and we'll talk about that later. And you get to apply poison. All right, core circle forward H. This is mostly using combos. But it's also safe on block, right? So if you're like looking for a thing like that's very easy to like frame trap with after jabs, this is your move. So basically frame traps and combos. Also poisons the opponent on hit. All right, so let's talk about this lash move, core circle forward punch. This move is very, very good. One advantage this has over the fireball is that it's a lot quicker. This is unreactable. So if they're just like parrying or like shimmying this distance, they'll get hit. It's also not as susceptible to jumps, right? So think of this as like a mid-range poke that applies poison. It's very, very good, especially against characters like Cammy, where you can't really throw the fireball out as easily because they can just invul through it. This move, however, is very good for stopping these kind of characters in the mid-range. Disadvantage is that if you whiff it, you can actually die. You drive rush in, like if they're really, really cracked. I think I've had that happen to me once. It's not the easiest thing to do. Medium Lash, this is mostly used for combos. Again, this is one of the moves that if poisoned, it kind of crumples, which means you get additional damage after. I think in theory it could like stop neutral jumps, but it's so slow, it's so like high risk, low reward that you shouldn't really do it in neutral. This move, course circle forward HP, is your anti-air. Now this doesn't get you that much on hit. It's also like harder to do, and sometimes like if they're in this range, it'll just whiff. But you do need to do this sometimes. It's very good like anti-cross up. It's also if they're poisoned, you get a lot more damage off your anti-air. There's a few different routes you can go, but the whole point is you get Oki and you get like double damage if they're poisoned. So when they're poisoned, you really want to be looking for this anti-air. But it also covers a different angle than some of the other anti-airs. It's also your kind of combo ender of choice because it leads into a really good knockdown situation. All right, so core circle back move. This move is decent. So as a couple purposes, one, this move is extremely good in burnout. So if they're ever burned out and you just cancel into this, this is +1 on burnout, which means that like this is like really hard to stop, like just doing shit like this. As you can see, there's like barely any gap there. The other thing, it's really good for like going over pokes. You know how people will like counter poke you after your block strings. This is a very good way to beat that. And on punish counter, you can just link a jab after into a combo. It's also really good for like baiting a throw tech. So like for example, a lot of people will like try to delay throw tech on a dash ward or something like that, and this will also beat that, and it's safe on block. So it has a lot of uses. This light kick version is very good. Medium kick I don't really use much, mostly if you're trying to go over something in neutral. Heavy kick is pretty good like anti-fireball option, but they are all -3, so all the opponent has to do is block and then take their turn. These can also be stopped by like anti-airs, right? So you can stop it in a number of different ways. Anti-air is one. The other thing is you can crouch DI. So you just crouch and then DI and then you get full combo. Don't stand DI this because it'll break the DI. I generally don't throw this out too often because it can be kind of risky. Now the EX move, I think the EX version is very, very good. This looks like a grab, but it's not actually a grab. It only grabs on hit. But the main thing is that one, it's harder to anti-air, but two, it's plus on block, which means you get like a strike throw mix up. You can go for a throw, you can go for a crouch leg kick, you can go for this, which will beat like a delay tech. You have tons of different options after it. This move is really good, and it's actually like quite hard to anti-air, right? Like especially if you're not looking for it. Like I tried to anti-air there, I just got hit. So the way you beat this, of course, is a crouch DI, and it's actually pretty hard to crouch DI too. You have to like really time it. I tried it there. So you can see like if it's hard for me in training mode, it's gonna be really hard for the opponent to deal with in an actual match. The other cool thing is you can steer it, right? So if you hold back in EX, you go not very far. If you hold forward in EX, you go really far. And if you just hold neutral, you go like medium distance. Be a little careful going all the way because if they're crouching, you just die. So generally, I like to just do the neutral version because it seems to be the safest most of the time. But if you're trying to like catch a fireball or something, you'll want to hold forward. Takes a little practice to get used to. Core circle forward kick is a command dash, 3 different distances. This goes nowhere, this goes somewhere, this goes even further. Honestly, these moves are not that great because it's pretty slow and all you have to do is jab. The reward's not really there. You have to like really catch them sleeping, but it can go under stuff like fireballs. You can like punish a fireball with this. So I generally don't recommend using these moves too often outside of like a once set kind of like surprise. This move's a lot better though. So this move can like fake with this, right? So like think about on knockdown. So this is kind of hard to distinguish from this. and see how it pushes you out, and that's pretty good. The other thing is that it looks like your stance, which we'll talk about the stance in a bit. This looks like the startup of this. They both go really low to the ground, so if you're trying to beat someone with that stance, you can do the core circle leg kick version. Now the EX version, this is your reversal. It's a fully invul reversal except to grabs. So in my opinion, this is not as good as a normal reversal, because you don't have like a good option to stop throw. Your only option to stop throw is super, so you have to be a little careful with it, but it's very good in the corner, right? Because you can get out of the corner. Now they're cornered, and it's also like good situations like this, right? Like let's say like they jab a few times and they can't like really throw from that situation, then you can kind of like, it's sort of easier to get out. Another thing that's really cool, for some reason her light fireball is cancelable with EX slide. This shit is like really good. And so like, you know, oftentimes like people try to parry the fireball, and you can beat the parry canceling this in the EX slide. So this is like one of your main ways to neutral skip. Oh yeah, so the stance. So this stance is really good. You have a command grab out of it, but this command grab is really slow. You see 42 frame command grab. So you might be wondering, like, how am I ever going to hit someone with a 42 frame command grab? Well, you have a couple different things you can do out of this stance, right? You can fake the stance and you can cancel it. But the main thing you're going to be doing is this kick version out of the stance. This kick move is insane. So let's say I cancel from stand heavy kick. This combo's on hit. Let's say they're blocking. This is safe on block. And if you do at the right spacing, you're like out of throw range. So being -3 outside of throw range isn't that big of a deal. And let's say they are mashing. You beat the mash and you get a full combo, right? So yeah, this move is quite good. And so the idea is you convince them not to mash after a move on block, like stand heavy kick, and then you go into the command grab, right? You can also do this like meaty from like certain moves. So for example, after like H lash, you can do shit like this and out command grab. So that's cheap. It'll beat like mash and stuff. And the way you fake that is you just go into this light dash that we talked about earlier, right? That'll be safe against DP. That'll be safe against whatever. But let's say they are delay poking, right? So they block this and they beat the command grab. So how do you deal with this, right? So if they're delay poking, that means you're effectively plus after the stand heavy kick, right? You can also like try to frame trap by delaying this kick. So there's a lot of ways you can beat like a delay poke. I also forgot to talk about this move. It's mostly combo filler, but it can go through fireballs as well. All right, now I think I've covered everything. All right, so super is level 1 super. It's your standard invul super. You have to represent sometimes because people are going to want to throw you because this is throw invul, so make sure you do this sometimes on wake up. It is a little slow, which means that sometimes like if your opponent's good, they can meaty jab you. Obviously, you can try to perfect parry this, but a meaty stand jab from a lot of different characters will deal with A.K.I.'s wake ups very well. Super is a pretty good anti-air if you're like at this range. So like sometimes like if they jump over a fireball, you won't have like the time to anti-air normally, but you can anti-air with level 1. That super also poisons on hit. The level 2 super, sometimes you use it as combos, but it's also going to be very good anti-fireball. So you have 3 different versions of super. Light version goes really close, medium version goes medium distance, and heavy version goes full screen. And you can react to some fireballs with this and get a punish. Also very good for burnout chip, and it's pretty safe on block too. Also leaves this puddle, which just does normal poison damage as well. Level 3 super, this is like your cash out super. It's super cool. Can also go through fireballs, but you have to be like pretty sweaty. It doesn't have the best range, but it's your standard level 3. Also lets you basically put out a fireball too, so you can like reset the situation. So I use her supers probably in like pretty equal distribution. I think the general rule of thumb applies to A.K.I as well. If you have level 3 in a combo early in the game, use it. Level 1, level 2 super, use it to kill. Level 2 super to throw fireballs. Level 1 super to reversal sometimes. So let's talk about combos. In all my guides, I always recommend not to learn that many combos, right? Because they can be very overwhelming for new players. And the most important thing is to learn how your moves work and how to get the combo hit in the first place. That being said, because of this poison mechanic, there's actually a few combos you need to learn with this character before you really get started. Now, the basic bread and butter is just jabs into this. If they're poisoned already, you can do a light lash after. But what I like to typically do is I like to do drive rush because I think this character is meant to be played as a more offensive character. And I almost always spend drive rush unless I'm low on drive in order to get that additional damage and additional Oki. Now there's a few other combos you need to learn, but they kind of all have this link in it, which is you do stand heavy kick, stance cancel into immediate kicks, jab jab, and then you just end with the same combo, right? Now this is your punish counter after DI. It also just happens a lot in pressure, right? Because like even just on their knockdown, if you do this sequence, it's really good and just kind of it's very autopilot-y, very strong, and beats smash, beats a lot of things beginners want to do. That being said, on punish counter, you can get a little bit more damage, and sometimes you're like not close enough to do this. That if you do quarter circle back heavy kick, and you can link into light lash as well, and you get a little bit more damage that way, and it's also like super consistent compared to this, which might whiff and then you're just really sad. Pretty much any drive rush off a medium, this is a very common situation where you'll do like drive rush medium punch. You'll almost always go into stand medium kick. On block or hit, doesn't matter, that's your best option. Now if this happens to hit, you do the same exact combo, stand heavy kick into the dragon lash, right? And if you ever drive rush a jab, like something like this, where you just kind of tack on that part into the beginning. The most common super cancel you have is doing this into level 3. This is probably the most common way I cash out my meter. So like pretty much after all of your bread and butters, you do the H lash and you cancel it into level 3, and that's the main way you cash out. And that's pretty much it for mid screen. It's the same in the corner, except I think there's one combo you should learn. And it's if you get this H lash for whatever reason. So let's say I get this, you get a quarter circle back heavy punch, right? So you get to tack on a little extra damage, but you can actually tack on a lot more. So drive rush cancel into this punch, and that does chunks. And you see how it says plus 84, which means you can like set up pretty much whatever you want. So what I recommend is doing something like this. And then you get a setup, right? You can throw a fireball, you can do this fake command grab, you can go for the command grab. You pretty much have the ability to do whatever you want, and they're poisoned. So it's a very, very strong setup. You'll run into this a lot because pretty much all of her combos lead into you being poisoned and them being cornered, then you just get free damage in the corner. So make sure you learn that combo too. And that's pretty much it, right? You can also, if you want to cash out, you can go into like pretty much any super here too. So you just drive rush crouch medium kick into whatever super you want. Oh yeah, stun combo. We can teach stun combo too. Stun combo is very, very similar. So let's pretend they're stunned, except you get an extra this move, right? And then it's the same exact sequence. Even though there's a lot of different starters, they all have like the same building blocks. This is pretty much all you need to know. This is 90% of the combos that I do to get where I'm at in Masters. And obviously there's a lot more combos. We'll talk about that in the advanced section. All right, so after you land your combos, there's a few things you can do. So after this H lash, there's a few different Oki steps you can do. You can do double dash forward, you can do medium dash, or you can do drive rush, right? Now, I don't recommend doing double dash because it's really susceptible to throw. I mean, it's really susceptible to like a delayed throw tech, while this like kind of leaves you like a little bit more spaced out, right? So you see how like it's a little less close than double dash, but some people do double dash. But I don't like it because it leaves you like point blank. Now you have a few different options. What I like to rotate after this is I'll either back up and do a shimmy with stand heavy kick. I'll do immediate stand heavy kick to like beat a mash, or this also sets up a perfect throw. So if you just mix up between those three options, you'll be golden. You can also drive rush. So the drive rush is like manually timed. Drive rush immediately and then like delay your overhead. And then like you can go for like a high low, right? This is quite strong too. Okay, got way more damage there. And then you just go into the same corner combo as before. You can also get a safe jump. I don't really like it because you have to not guess, but you have to react whether they're gonna forward attack. And the way you do it is like you always forward jump and then either hold down and then do either heavy punch if they stay in place or heavy kick if they cross up. But you see, like I still mess it up. It's pretty tricky. So I got it there, but it's yeah, you can do something like that as well. But I personally don't recommend it. But in the corner, I think it's a lot better. Doesn't matter which way they tuck. So in the corner, I'll do something like this, into jump heavy kick, and then hold back in case they DP, and then do forward heavy kick because it combos on hit, and it's also +2 and then frame traps, right? So it looks something like this, the whole sequence. All right, so general strategy. Obviously, goal of A.K.I is to get a hit, get the combos down, get the set play down. I think in order to play A.K.I, you have to have a good semblance of that stuff. But I see some people struggle in neutral, right? So what is your goal in neutral with A.K.I? Well, generally, it's throw a fireball. You don't want to throw a fireball at like this range. Round start fireball is not good because that's just a free jump and your defense isn't the best with A.K.I, right? You want to be in like this range to throw a fireball. And her movement's pretty fast. You can like use your mobility to like confuse the opponent to get into this range and then throw a fireball. And once you get into this range, you throw a fireball, you can either keep throwing fireballs, or if you're at like full drive meter, you can use your drive meter to follow this up. And of course, you can do drive rush low or overhead, and that's really hard for the opponent to deal with, and they can't like mash out of it because they're blocking your fireball, right? Unless they perfect parry, but that's tough, and I wouldn't really worry about that for now. So the question is, what if your opponent doesn't let you set up the fireball, right? Because a good opponent, if you're backing up and throwing a fireball, they're gonna try to chase you and get the jump in, right? And you have a few different ways to stop the approach, right? This move, very good for hitting people that are outside your poke range. This is probably like your go-to because it's hit confirmable. And also if people are like drive rushing in, you want to make sure you stop, right? So stand heavy kick is quite good to stop it if you're at like a far range. And it leads into crazy reward. And stand medium punch is better at close, right? So if your reactions are really good, you stop that drive rush and then start your offense. And once you get this one hit, you know, things just kind of steamroll from here, right? So the goal is just to somehow get that one hit, whether it's through playing neutral or whether it's through anti-air, and then just steamroll off of that. Speaking of anti-air, that's probably where a lot of people will struggle with this character. So there's like this dead zone against A.K.I where it's like, it's really hard to anti-air. You see like pretty much everything just whiffs. You don't have like a really good option. So you either have to like do jump back jab or like walk under and then do something like that. So make sure you get really good at that, and then obviously like your antis have to be on point with this character. I generally recommend H lash most of the time. However, stand heavy kick is probably like the easiest thing to use, and you can just cancel in the fireball or whatever. And crouch heavy kick has a lot of reward because it cancels into because you can combo in the sweep. So generally you want to do all three moves. So that sounds really good, but there's certain characters in this game that do not let you throw fireballs, or they have a fireball of their own. So I think Ken is probably the most popular example online. So you might be wondering, what do I do against Ken? I throw a fireball, he throws a fireball, what do I do? So you have a number of different moves that are good against fireballs, right? Obviously, just like trading fireballs here is not the worst thing, but you have some anti-fireball moves that Ken does not, right? So this move, extremely good against fireballs. And you can dash forward twice, get Oki, and then go for whatever you want, right? And then you start the game. And as you can see, the game is quite damaging. And you can literally win off like one hit. And he's like beyond dead, right? It does require getting a good read on a fireball. But you have a couple other options against fireballs, right? This move is it looks like it should be good because it beats fireball. This is your EX lash. But it's like you can't do it on reaction, right? Because you'll just die. So, but it's also safer than doing this move, right? So if you want something that's preemptive, this move can be pretty good, and obviously it leads into whatever you want, right? And the other thing is, like, of course you can slide under. And if you get a good read on the slide, right? You get a punish counter into whatever you want. And of course, like, don't be afraid to play like this game, right? Like, block a fireball. You're pretty much even, right? So you can like try to poke with heavy punch. You can try to poke with this move. You can fish for an anti-air. Yeah, you have a lot of different options, right? And of course, occasionally drive rushing in and doing like crouch medium kick or stand medium punch or crouch late kick. All very good options. So if I could give you any recommendation as a neutral, it's to mix up your options. Don't be too predictable with your fireballs because you'll get jumped in on. And if people are jumping in on you, then you don't need to throw fireballs because you can just focus on anti-airing them and steamrolling after that. Offense, pretty much what I told you guys. Land this, do good mix. Make sure you shimmy a lot because their shimmy normal is really good, because like even on block you have a lot of different cancel options between fireball and stance cancel and doing nothing. So make sure you shimmy a lot of this character, and your reward's like super crazy off shimmy. Oh yeah, especially like if you're new to the game, like let's say they do wake up drive impact, which is like really bad at high level. This will go under and you get a full combo. Pretty funny. But yeah, make sure you're using this a lot on offense. And like after it's blocked, like one of the best things you can do, like let's say this is blocked, just do a delay tech or just like walk back, or you can go for like a perfect parry or something after that's blocked. You know, defense, of course, just mix in the level 1, mix in the EX reversal, and just have good fundamentals, right? Do a lot of delay tech, do a lot of delay jab. When you're in the corner, occasionally try to jump out with this move. It's pretty good for like anti-shimmy. That's mostly it. By the way, if you guys made it this far and this guide is useful, consider like, sharing, and subscribing. Really helps out the channel, helps me make more guides like this. Usually these guides don't do as well as some of my other easier to make content on YouTube, so I do this for you guys. I do this to help people get into the game, and definitely appreciate any support you guys can give me to help me make more guides like this. All right, so advanced section, there's a lot of cool stuff here. So here's some of the things that I marked down that I need to learn. Right, so if you hit a meaty throw and they jump over you, pretty much your only option is H-Slash, right? And you can get really good damage off of this H-Slash. I showed you guys a very basic combo, but this is an example of additional combo you can do. As you can see, you can get crazy damage just for punishing someone from jumping out of the corner. Very strong. All right, this is an example of a optimal DP punish. Now, I didn't really talk about using this EX chain in combos because it's more of like a meter dump move, but a lot of for like truly optimal meter dump combos end up using that EX chain. And you can see there's a lot of cool drive rush links you can do to punish things a little bit more optimally. This tech I thought was just like straight cool. So this is an example of a slightly more optimal DP punish combo, but it's also hard. You have to like sometimes micro walk there. But this crosses up. So if you guys didn't like actually check out what happened there, this EX move pulls them out of the corner, and then you can cross up, and yeah, they just die for it, right? This is a what I call it max damage stun combo. So of course you throw the puddle down and do some more drive rush links. And I don't even know if this is truly optimal, but this is the most damaging combo that I found online. Yeah, usually if you get the stun, they're going to be quite low health anyways. So this is definitely on my to-do list to learn. This is a more common situation than you think. People just get hit by EX Fireball, and this is a way to convert off of it. Yeah, that's pretty good. I gotta learn that myself. So yeah, a lot of optimization left. Obviously, matchups and stuff we need to learn. A couple of matchups I've been having trouble with are Cammy and JP, because they don't let you really set up the fireball. Most matchups, they feel pretty good. I think honestly, A.K.I's probably getting up like mid-tierish. She seems pretty good to me. Potentially better than Kim. Will I main A.K.I? I'm not sure. We'll see. I think I might main like dual main just so I can like deal with JP, because there's like JPs everywhere. But A.K.I's quite strong. I think she's pretty underrated, and we'll see where she ends up. All right, chat. Any questions before we finish the guide? Use drive rush 6 heavy kick in neutral at all? Not really, because it's really slow. Yeah, see, like sometimes like you're like out of throw range, right? So like if you're gonna get throw, I don't know, it just doesn't seem the best. Like if I'm gonna like try to take advantage of them being really passive, I'm gonna try to go for overhead or low, or like try to sneak the stand heavy kick in like a little closer because it gives me throw, or I'm just gonna go for throw. How do you deal with DI spam? DI back. Like generally, I think fireballs in general are like pretty good to hedge against DI, because like, right, like you can just, it helps to like react to the fireball, because it like slows down the screen some. But yeah, like if you're just like buffering like normals into drive rush, that's also like a really good option. Obviously just waiting. The thing is with A.K.I is like you want to like be back here, so like I find it's really common that like because your back walk speed's pretty good, or like your back dash is pretty good, like you'll just make it whiff and then it's like, all right, time to punish, right? And on offense, like you don't need to worry about DI. Pretty much all their shit's like DI safe. Oh, burnout pressure. Yeah, we could talk about burnout pressure. So the thing about burnout is like pretty much everything. This is plus, this is plus, this is plus, this is plus. So you can just kind of like just keep like looping these like different moves. Now there's always going to be a gap because like eventually you'll get pushed out because like you can't just, even though this has like no DI or like mashable gap, eventually you get pushed out after like 4 reps, right? So you have to like steal a turn, whether it's like through this so you can keep looping, or it's like through this so you can keep looping, right? Counter strategy, how do you interact with stance? Delay jump or delay mash, pretty much. I don't know if you talked about what's your go-to puzzle step. The only time I use puzzle is that corner combo. I see Kazunoko do shit like this. Oh wait. But like, it's not even guaranteed. Like it only works on neutral tech and you give us so much damage. Like, I think that's just trolling. Anyways, if you like this kind of content, like, share, and subscribe. If you want to see more content, I'm actually going to be playing a lot more A.K.I. Soon we have to join tournaments and stuff, and I'm really feeling this character. So if you want to see more of A.K.I, consider subscribing. I'm going to have a lot of good content on that, and take care, y'all. Have a good one.